Hey there, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel and checking out this podcast on proteins and lipids. So today I'm going to quickly walk you through why proteins are so important for living things and lipids and what their roles are. So to begin with, we should understand that biomolecules are molecules that are essential for living things and contain three major atoms: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. But in proteins, we're going to see another atom play a major role, and that is the nitrogen atom. So in this particular diagram, we can see carbon bonded to what's called an amino group and bonded to this carboxyl group. This part right here is true for all amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So proteins are made up of amino acid chains. And once we build these amino acids in our cells, they will link together to form proteins, and these proteins will play extremely important roles in structures of living things and a variety of cell processes. So when we look at an amino acid, we're not looking at a single amino acid. We're looking at a combination of potentially 20 different ones. So amino acid chains are built when these link together to form a particular protein. So a protein is the combination of lots and lots of amino acids bond together. There are 20 common amino acids, and we use these amino acids in our cells to build structures and to build different processes that happen inside of our cells. When these link together, they form very complex proteins that can work together or they can work individually. So when a protein is built, it links together the amino acids in a long chain. This is called the primary structure of a protein. The workings of the Golgi apparatus will shape these particular amino acid chains into folds or twists, and it will form the secondary structure. The secondary structure then can be applied to a larger protein where they are folded and compacted into a specific shape. So depending on the shape of the protein will often determine how it functions in a living cell. And a lot of times these proteins just don't act by themselves, but they work together with other proteins to make up a protein complex, which we call the quaternary or the fourth level of a protein. So again, proteins are very complex, and we call them polymers because they're made up of individual monomers of these amino acids. So what's their job? Well, they do a lot of different things. One is that they can help control chemical reactions in your body. Every single chemical reaction in your body is controlled by an enzyme. And enzymes are proteins. They help us stay healthy most of the time. So they provide us with the ability to produce antibodies or globular proteins that can help recognize foreign particles. They make up your red blood cells. Your red blood cell is mainly composed of hemoglobin, which is used to help transport oxygen throughout your body. They provide lots and lots of structure and support within your cells. So many people think of proteins. We eat protein. It helps build up muscle mass. It sure does, because it helps build those cells. It helps build the inside matrix of a cell. It helps build our skin, or what we call collagen. It helps build our ligaments and our tendons and our bones. Those cells are very rich in proteins, and those cells that need to be able to help us move produce another type of protein called actin, and this particular protein allows your muscles to expand and contract, allowing for movement. And the last one is they can help regulate a lot of intercellular processes and the communication from one cell to another. So a good example of this is insulin. Insulin tells your cells to basically, hey, we need more sugar, so it allows your body to release more sugar into its bloodstream. And the other type of biomolecule that we're going to quickly cover today are the lipids. Lipids are fats and oils. So an easy way to think of a lipid is these solid or liquid fats, or solid fats and liquid oils. They're all made up of the monomer of a glycerol chain with 3 fatty acids linked to it. So it's, again, looking at the structure of this compared to amino acid, it's much more complex. They're much larger in size. But again, these lines represent covalent bonds, and there are a lot more bonds in this fatty acid chain than there are in a carbohydrate or in an amino acid. So we say that these lipids are very rich in lots of energy. There's 4 general types of lipids. There's actually more than this, but the 4 that I would like you to be familiar with are the triglycerides, phospholipids, steroids, and waxes. The triglycerides are common fats that we often ingest into our bodies from the foods that we eat. So eating that delicious hamburger from Culver's has lots of saturated fats in it, the animal fats. These are actually good for you in certain amounts because your body will process the fats and help use them to build your own cells and to help develop your brain. Unsaturated fats are found because there's lots of double bonds between the carbon-hydrogen linkage, and these often tend to be liquid at room temperature. Trans fats are fats that are the hard vegetable oils. So Crisco is one that often comes to mind when we think of a trans fat. It's used for baking. It's a hard vegetable oil that we can use for a lot of different applications. And the hydrogenated fats are things that we have synthetically processed to add some water to them to basically soften them up so we can use them for cooking or baking purposes. So margarine is a good example of a hydrogenated fat. The difference between these and these, your body processes them very differently during digestion. Phospholipids, very significant in the production of all of your cells. Every single cell in your body has a cell membrane covered in phospholipids. Steroids are another group of lipids. So these things like lipid hormones in males and females are estrogen and testosterone. Play a very, very important role in your development. Cholesterol is another one. So this is blood fat. So it's a type of steroid that we need to have in our diets, but certain types of cholesterol are not good for you because they can cause hardening of the arteries or clottage in the arteries and lead to different types of heart diseases. And vitamins also fall into the category of under the steroid branch. And then the last one are your waxes. So any type of wax, beeswax or ears wax, fall in the lipid category. So like I said before, these things contain long carbohydrate or long chains of carbon and hydrogen, and these form big energy storage molecules. They help form the membranes around our cells. They provide insulation in our bodies to help keep our body temperatures near 98.6 degrees. They provide cell-to-cell signaling with the use of all these different types of hormones. And another important role of a lipid is they help in the production of myelin, which is found in every single neuron in your body. So your brain, as you start learning and thinking and processing information, you develop this fatty covering around your neurons, which helps in the electrical chemical impulse from one cell to another. So that's called myelin, and it's a specific type of neuron that you should be aware of. So to wrap up, lipids can fall under the saturated fat category, and just to kind of give you some examples, your milks and your cheeses and your animal fats are your saturated fats. These tend to be solid at room temperature, while your unsaturated fats tend to be liquid at room temperature. And I'll leave you with this one. That wax that builds up in your ear plays an important role. It's good at capturing little pathogens that might fly into your ear or float into your ear. It catches them and keeps your body clean from those pathogens. And it also is really good at keeping water from sitting in your ear, because water is a good place for bacteria to grow in, and having an ear infection is not fun. So for those of you that have ear infections regularly, it might be partially because of the lack of a waxy buildup in your ear canal. All right, well, that's it for today. Please make sure you take some notes on this and bring this information to class tomorrow, because we're going to be doing some lab work that relates to proteins and lipids. Thank you.